it's Colorado law that this disclaimer is on all estimates and stuff.
Sure.
And the first paragraph talks about all the bad things can happen to a body shop.
Yeah.
But then in the middle it says, any insurance company or agent of an insurance company who knowingly provides false, incomplete, or misleading facts or information to a policyholder or claimant for the purpose of defrauding or attempting to defraud the policyholder or claimant with regard to a settlement or award payable from insurance proceeds shall be reported to the Colorado Division of Insurance.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. My name is Eric Reamer. This is Robert Grieve, and we are grateful that you are here with us today. We air every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. in the Mountain Standard Time, and we got a doozy for you. But first, if this is your first time here to the channel, we want to welcome you, say thanks for tuning in, and if you see something that you like, would you do us a big favor and just click the thumbs up? You're going to see that we have all kinds of archives of videos that are all consumer focused towards you, and if you would give the thumbs up, that way YouTube says, hey, you know what, this is relevant and we're going to share it with more people.
Go ahead and hit that like button now. You're going to love it.
Yep, that's what we would do. And of course, if you're one of our regulars, our family, we say thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate you. And everybody is invited to not only chat with us during the live premiere, but also leave your comments below, and we will address those as they come.
Love the comments.
Absolutely. Okay, so Rob, happy Saturday to you.
To you, sir. My dear friends, thanks so much for tuning in.
Always. And today we're going to set the scene because, it's our customary conversation here to be reasonable with our friends through the camera, right? Now you're laughing because I'm using two words, reasonable and customary, that are going to come to play in our conversation today.
But we're never unsubstantiated.
We're gonna substantiate from start to finish on this one.
Yeah.
Rob,
good stuff.
Tell us what we're talking about here.
All right. So a few weeks back, I think maybe 2 episodes ago, maybe 3, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We talked about a Subaru that was brought in here that looked like it got hit by a train.
Yes.
And the insurance company deemed it a repairable vehicle.
Right.
For the ridiculous low amount of $5,800, which wouldn't even cover the paint work.
Now, there was a difference of like almost $30,000 between our estimate and theirs.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'll put a link to that video right up here so that you can watch it. Not yet. Wait till this is done.
Yeah.
But it's up there. It's also down in the description box.
And we're going to add on to last week's video where we were talking about insurers and their downward pressure on the consumers and on shops.
That's a nice way of saying it. We call it bullying.
Yeah, bullying. And the letters that consumers get, and the fear that they can invoke, and it's
designed to manipulate people to cave to the pressure and accept less money than they are owed for a particular incident.
Yeah, and if they, in this particular case, they're using our guest against us.
Yes.
Seeing the insurance company can't get us to lower our prices, they tell the guest, you need to get the shop to lower their prices.
Well, that's an interesting thing.
Or we're going to penalize you.
Is this a one-off situation?
Oh, no, this happens all the time.
It does?
It happens all the time.
Which is why we're bringing it to you, because you'll never hear these messages, you'll never see these messages, you'll never get to see behind the curtain, if you will, unless we share this with you. And so,
or you have an accident and you start getting these letters.
Yeah. But if you're not told that you are being misled, then you may believe that what the insurance company is saying is reasonable and customary and accurate and substantiated.
Yes. Yep. So, again, if you can just throw up a couple quick pics of this vehicle that we're talking about.
There you go.
I'm going to read the first letter. Now, they decided to deem the vehicle total loss. I know that's hard to believe, but they came to the realization that maybe it's not repairable.
Okay.
And they decided to total the car. But we're still not done.
Gotcha.
Because now they want to argue about our bill.
Oh.
For storing it, assessing it.
All the things that
yeah.
we do on a daily basis.
Yep. That they didn't seem to be able to do.
I see.
And
well, let's hear what they say.
Okay, so I'm not going to mention the guest name, naturally.
Yep.
So I'm only going to read excerpts of this, so not to give up
Privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your 2015 Subaru Forester was deemed a total loss on May 26th, 22. That's about 2 weeks after we sent in our supplement.
Okay.
Due to a supplement received from your shop of choice, Nylund's Collision Center. Insurance company is attempting to move the vehicle to a storage-free facility on your behalf. I'm not sure what that does for the guest, but they're trying to do that for the guest.
Oh, okay.
So, to date, we have been unable to move it due to an unsubstantiated bill that is being assessed against you by your shop of choice.
Interesting phrase there. Unsubstantiated bill being assessed against you, the person that is the recipient of this letter.
Yep.
I didn't realize that shops were assessing bills against people.
Well, I mean, you sign a contract with us,
right?
You know, and the insurance company has a duty to you, not to us.
Right.
So this is our bill.
Uh-huh.
That's, you know, you go out for a steak dinner, you get a bill. You paid a bill.
Shouldn't you pay just like 25% of the bill?
Only if it's unsubstantiated.
Oh. There's no evidence of the steak anymore.
Yeah. So due to an unsubstantiated bill that's being assessed against you by your shop of choice.
Yeah.
The charges your shop of choice is choosing to charge exceed normal and customary fees in your area. And they say in here $35 is what other shops in the area charge.
$35.
$35 a day for storage.
All right.
They are charging storage from the day the vehicle arrived until the day the vehicle is picked up. I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Shops in the area only charge storage from the day it's deemed a total loss to the day it's released.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't know that either. I've never heard of such a thing. So, and what I wanted to ask this person is, if you were my business insurance,
yes,
if you were covering Nylund, you're my insurance company.
Right.
When do you cover vehicles? The answer is going to be the minute they come on the property. So, if a vehicle is here and some crazy thing happens, I'm on the hook for it.
Right.
Or my insurance company's on the hook for it. Many times, you know, but there is no many times. It's just we've been blessed not to have to,
yeah.
you know, get in that subject. But my cost starts as soon as the vehicle arrives. We charge storage from the day it drops here because
that's business.
My insurance company is covering it.
That sounds like business.
In fact, we had to stop and restart this video because the guy in the next lot over, it's got a fire going.
Here's the video of that.
So, if that fire breached the fence and burned up a car, my insurance company would have to kick in. They'd go after his and all the rest of that. But I'd have to cover that.
Right.
So, let's keep going here. We cannot pay for the storage fees being assessed as the car was not being stored but rather worked on as a repairable vehicle. We never turned a bolt on this car.
Okay.
It never moved out of its spot. All we did was take pictures, write an estimate, and send it.
Yeah.
So it was not being repaired,
Okay.
as they state here. So that could be a little bit of a,
Sounds like it was being stored.
a misalignment of facts.
You're so nice.
This insurance company has explained this to your shop of choice. Unfortunately, they have advised they have no intention of reducing these unsubstantiated fees.
There's that word again.
Yep, they love that word.
Unsubstantiated.
Unsubstantiated. One purpose of this letter is to inform you that your assistance and guidance is needed to resolve this matter with your shop of choice, as their excess charges will be your responsibility.
That sounds like manipulation and bullying.
Yeah. So,
And blame shifting.
yeah. So if I got a letter like this, I would be very, very concerned and on the phone with the shop also. The guest did call us, and relax.
That's going to be the word of the day right there. Relax. It's going to be all right.
So, interestingly enough, there's a disclaimer on the back, next page of this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And this disclaimer says, it's Colorado law that this disclaimer is on all estimates and stuff.
Sure.
And the first paragraph talks about all the bad things can happen to a body shop.
Yeah.
But then in the middle it says, any insurance company or agent of an insurance company who knowingly provides false, incomplete, or misleading facts or information to a policyholder or claimant for the purpose of defrauding or attempting to defraud the policyholder or claimant with regard to a settlement or award payable from insurance proceeds shall be reported to the Colorado Division of Insurance. Well, there's, I would call a couple of these things into question. And
Certainly misleading.
Maybe these people didn't read that disclaimer
Well,
all the way through.
it's on every email, so maybe
Yeah.
they just grown numb to it.
So remember, they said $35 a day in that letter
I do remember that.
is reasonable and customary in this area.
For storage for other shops in the area.
Yeah. So the next day, we responded to her and said, no, we're not changing our prices. Our prices are our prices.
Yep.
And she writes another email. I reviewed this again with my manager, and we are still having difficulty with the amounts charged by the shop. We have spoken to several shops in the area, and the average storage costs have been $40 a day in that area.
Wait a minute.
Well, wait a minute.
The average went up overnight?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if we just kept doing this for more days, it would come to what we charge.
I'm wondering where they pull those numbers.
Yeah. We also have compared to multiple shops regarding when they charge storage. We are willing to pay storage at a reasonable rate from the date the supplement was sent over until 6/3, blah, blah, blah. If Nylund is willing to reduce their charges, we can arrange to pick up. If they're not, then we will be deducting the excess fees from the settlement amount that would be paid to you, as what they are charging is not reasonable and customary in that area. Again, we're going to transfer this cost onto you.
Sounds like blackmail now.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, this person was rear-ended. And while it looks like it was rear-ended by a train, it's not a train, it's another person driving another car.
So this insurance company is the other person's insurance.
Yes.
And our guest
Yeah.
is the claimant.
Is the claimant, third party.
I got it.
Yep. So this is how they're treating this person,
Yeah.
which I didn't really care for too much.
I can't imagine why.
And I decided to take over and write my own response.
This should be good. Turn up the volume.
Good morning, this adjuster's name. From everything I've read throughout your emails, your communications thus far have shown zero remorse for your insured's damages to Mr. Blah, blah, blah. In fact, I find them to be intimidating, and I'm sure the guest feels similarly.
Yep.
You stated that our charges are unsubstantiated over and over again, and yet they are clearly posted. As far as unsubstantiated go, let's look at your claims as to what is reasonable and customary. In your first letter, dated June 3rd, you said $35 a day is what you found to be reasonable and customary. Now your email from yesterday says you found that $40 a day is average in the area. You use terms like several shops in the area, average cost, most shops. It's my understanding that there are 500 to 700 collision repair facilities in Colorado. How many of them did you survey? Are they shops that have agreements with insurers to charge less in return for referrals? We call that a direct repair shop.
DRP.
Are they shops that have towing operations attached to them that may be restricted as to what they can charge by the PUC, Public Utility Commission?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to provide the study you have conducted, I would have to conclude that maybe your study could be considered unsubstantiated.
Hello.
Regardless, we have our rates clearly posted and they have changed very little in the recent years.
I can testify to that.
Okay, by the way, I just received a reply to a message that I sent the manager of a local reputable shop, and their outside storage is higher than what I'm charging. And so I outlined what that other shop is charging, which is more than what we're charging.
Right.
And one shop, similar in size and scope, I think it's a pretty good comparable.
It's comparable. It's almost a reasonable comparison.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're in our market.
They're in our market.
As far as the vehicle goes, we saved you money on that as well by not bringing it into the shop and doing an extensive disassembly on it. Any first-year appraiser would total that vehicle just walking past it. We gave you a thorough, itemized initial repair plan so you could make an appropriate and educated decision as to next steps. As far as I'm aware, Colorado Title 10 laws put the following responsibility on the insurer, and clearly no effort was put into achieving this directive. If your appraiser had written an honest and ethical assessment of this vehicle's damage, it would have been totaled at the point of inspection and not have been dragged out by sending it to a shop for evaluation.
Remember that there was almost $30,000 difference.
Without turning a bolt.
Without turning a bolt, just taking pictures, looking at it and saying, this is what this is going to cost. And in what we would consider bad faith,
Well, this can't be a bad faith case because it's third party.
Oh.
You can only do that against your own
Sorry,
insurance.
that's a legal term. Neither of us are lawyers.
We're not lawyers.
But I correct.
And I don't suggest that this would work all the time.
You're right.
You know, it's just, let's look at the facts of the case,
Yeah.
just like a lawyer would. And in this case, you didn't need a lawyer. You just need a shop that's looking out for you, and that will cut through all the mire and not get distracted by the ugly terms that are used in these letters.
And the repeated letters of intimidation.
Yeah. So the law, I put a little excerpt of the law I was referring to.
Yep.
And it says that insurers are required that any estimate prepared by or for an insurance covering damages that are visible or evident at the time of inspection is adequate to restore the property within a reasonable time to its condition before the loss in accordance with applicable policy provisions. So that means they were in the real wrong by not writing an honest and ethical evaluation of that vehicle. They were in the wrong from the get-go.
And eventually they admitted they were in the wrong by claiming it was a loss, right?
Yep. And then I ended looking forward to bringing this situation to a close for the guest today, respectfully.
You know, that sentence right there shows you are interested in a fast resolution to this. The guest is the one who's being penalized by waiting for them to cover the expense.
Yeah. So she sends back a quick email that says, I'd like to talk about this over the phone, which is not surprising because I think that she's done putting stuff in writing.
I think that's probably good advice.
Yeah. So I said, give me a buzz. I'd be delighted to talk with you at any time. And next thing you know, it was less than 10 minutes, the phone is ringing. And to this person's credit, the first words out of her mouth is, "I just have to apologize. This thing has gotten way out of control. I've been getting downward pressure from my managers. I'm new to this particular role, and you're completely right. I went back and looked at the pictures of the vehicle. It was not
repairable.
Should have been totaled from the beginning. So what you laid out in your email is correct. We'd like to get the car picked up today, and we'll be paying you in full." So now the guest is going to be made whole on this thing, but it didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
It started out exactly the opposite. He was actually going to get penalized.
Right.
And don't get distracted by these letters.
Yep.
Talk with your shop. Your shop should give you confidence that this can be taken care of.
Yeah.
And just work through the details. It's
Well, and my advice to our viewers is to realize that there are shops, per your letter, that are in a partnership with the insurer, and they trade non-argument for referrals.
Yep.
Right? They just do
if
whatever.
you don't argue with us, we'll send you lots of vehicles. Just fix them the way we want to, with the parts that we want to, the quality that we want to. In fact, maybe this car would have had to be repaired. They might have just said, "You know what? Suck it up and fix the car." I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not part of any of those relationships.
But those shops do exist. And what we want to make sure that you know is that there are shops who will be ethical and honest with you. And, does sometimes, is there an expense involved in that? Well, sure. There's an expense involved with anything, any business, right? But reasonable and customary really is subjective.
It is.
Right?
It's definitely subjective, because and there are, many shops out there, especially in the Denver area, that they'll just cut it to the bone,
Yeah.
not fix the car properly.
Right.
The consumer loses every time they bring their cars there,
Yep.
and the insurance company wins.
Yeah.
And that puts the insurers in a great place to try and beat down shops that don't have a relationship with them.
Right.
And too many shops cave. Instead of just looking through what happened and say, "Hey, wait a second.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah.
All stop." So, anyway.
Well, I thought that your letter was right on point, and I felt like this is a great message to our viewers. If you would you take the time, again, if you haven't yet, click that thumbs up.
Please.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Gosh, we haven't asked for that for a long time, but we'd love it if you would. And then share this across your social media links. Just copy the link and send it off and say, "Hey, be aware of what's going on out there."
And sometimes you don't need a lawyer.
It's true.
Just get somebody that knows what they're, how to look through all the facts of the case, which is what a lawyer is going to do. Only they're going to charge you,
more,
$300-400 an hour.
Yeah. And as of this date, this video is still free.
Yeah.
Rob, happy Saturday to you, man.
To you. Have an amazing week. God bless you all.